We got an Elena trailer finally. Capcom finally recognized that they told us that this character was coming. They finally remember, like, oh yeah, we do got another character coming this season. So they finally went ahead and released it. Nothing about the updates yet, with the upcoming season, but we'll give you this one, Capcom. At least you remember Elena. And then we got Hokutomaru announced for Fate of Furious City of the Wolves. See, they got us last time. Cristiano Ronaldo and DJ Dude was announced right after we did the podcast. Like each time, back to back weeks, and it was like, all right, SNK, y'all doing this on purpose. But anyway, we got those two characters. Trailers for them have released. We got to see actual gameplay footage of Hokutomaru. He looks pretty wonky. Wonky. I'm talking about the DJ Dude. He looks pretty cool. Elena, we didn't get a gameplay trailer. We just actually got to see what she looks like actually now for Street Fighter 6 in motion. Her design and stuff for now. So we'll give it over to the cast. How are you gentlemen thinking about what you guys have seen? Are y'all excited, one, for Elena, how she's designed, how she's looking, and how does Hokutomaru look for you guys? We'll start with you, MC Amazing.
So I think, like, first off, the Hokutomaru trailer I thought was really cool. That was a character that I remember in Mark of Wolves that I just with my limited knowledge of fighting games, I wasn't really able to play that well, I don't think. So I would like to maybe try giving him another shot in City of the Wolves. So that'd be really cool. He looks great. I think he looks really cool. I think he I always think it's real cool when they have like a character that's like that, like that's like a kid that's kind of like beating up adults like that. I always think that's really fun. And I think he is definitely the successor to Andy Bogart style for sure. As far as Elena goes, I mean, I feel like I like that they actually put out a trailer for Elena, but my disappointment is that that's all it really was. It was just like an introduction trailer, like, oh, we're announcing Elena, but it's like you already kind of did that already. Like I feel like I would have appreciated the trailer a little bit more if they'd given us maybe a little bit. You know what I mean? It's like if you had given us a little bit of gameplay or something like that, or whatever. It's like, okay, this is pretty much like her introduction, probably in the story. You know what I mean? In the game, but it's like I'm like, okay, cool, but what else is there, man? I mean, I'm looking forward to seeing, more like gameplay or something like that. Like with Hokutomaru, it's like, oh, okay, like they announced the character, it's going to be, you already knew he was going to be in the game pretty much, like, and then like it comes out and it's like, oh, like we have gameplay, like we have actual gameplay. So you have something to sink your teeth into. With Elena, it's like, oh, well, we know what she looks like, in the game, but you kind of already knew that. And you kind of already knew she was going to be in the game. So this is kind of basically having a trailer like that is a formality. It kind of like I'm not saying you should do this, but if you're going to take both like the quality of both trailers and kind of put them side by side, I mean, one looks really good, but the other one actually means a lot more, So I don't know, like that's just my opinion. I kind of wish they had like done a little bit more with that trailer, and then it's like, oh well, she's coming out on June 5th. That's cool. I'm glad we got a release date, but also, what else is there? Like what? Because I mean, I think people are more interested in seeing what she can do, so they can start speculating on how she's going to fit into like the rest of Street Fighter 6, as opposed to being like, oh, okay, we already knew she was going to be in the game. So you're just, I mean, I guess confirmation bias. I mean, if that's really your thing, then that's great. But for me, I'm gonna need a little bit more than that. So that's my take on it.
Go ahead, Devin.
So Elena is definitely one of those characters that's like polarizing, because people are, she has such a presence in Street Fighter 4. And it's weird because this character, I was actually playing with a friend at the time, and I told him like, this character's broken. Like, this is before even she started like the healing stuff. I was like, this character's broken. He's like, no, she's not. I'm like, I stand by what I say. This character's broken. And that was like the first day I played against her. Like she was low profiling, low moves. I'm like, yeah, that's kind of bad. On top of other things. But both trailers were pretty cool. The Street Fighter 6 one, you know, is kind of what they've been doing. They show off like a world tour trailer, show how the character's gonna look. They show the interaction between people are calling him Johnny Street Fighter, Johnny War Tour, whatever his name is, just the basic War Tour character. She looks pretty cool. I like her in motion is definitely pretty cool. I'm really interested to see how Elena's gonna be because I mean she has a lot of crazy flips and some wild animations. So seeing them in like the RE engine now is gonna be pretty dope. Her outfit at first I had to kind of get used to, but I actually I think it's pretty dope how they kind of just like gave her this like capri style, like longer leg on one side, shorter leg on the other side. She looks pretty cool though. The stage, they might be hinting at like a stage for her. I did enjoy her stage from Street Fighter 4. At least I'm sure that was her stage, like with the animals and stuff in the background, giraffes and hippos and everything. Hokutomaru, when I saw that character, I'm like, this is a new character. I'm like, wait a minute, no, this character's already been out. He was just a younger kid in Mark of the Wolves. He was a pretty cool character. I do like the fact that it's like a mixture of Andy and Mai with the fire, and then you got Andy with the elbow and the kicks and stuff, the little flip kick. So I think he's pretty dope. I've seen some of the what he can do in the showcase they had, and he looks pretty wild so far. He has like an advantage over the other cast members because he has his rev blow. He can do it like as a DP going into the area. He can come down. I haven't seen anybody else do that so far, so that's going to be pretty strong. He's got some wild combo routes. So he looks pretty fun. I'm definitely going to be trying him out when he comes out. Of course, they showed off some other stuff, but specifically him, he looks pretty cool. It's got some zoning capabilities. So yeah, I'm always down for a cool ninja character. So he looks cool. Annie's one of my favorite characters. He will also be playable. So having a character that's like Annie's protege is dope to see. So yeah, I enjoy both of them. Of course, the Elena trailer didn't have as much to show off in terms of gameplay. Hopefully, maybe the next few weeks we'll get that because she's coming out soon. And I'm assuming they try to line up with the release of the Switch too, because Street Fighter 6 also coming to the Switch. So but I was pretty pleased though.
Well, I was gonna make the Vega lover go last, but you know, I decided to go ahead and be nice.
Greatness.
But when it comes to Elena, you know, everybody kind of got a redesign in Street Fighter 6. Basically, everybody looks different, so you could kind of expect her not to like look like what she looked like in Third Strike or what she looked like in 4. I mean, you could have expect with the redesign, it was just probably just gonna be like they was gonna put some type of clothes on her because we know at her in prior time she was basically just naked, you know. So you kind of knew the only way to go was like putting more clothes on her in the redesign. So, now the one thing that does make me think Elena's not coming out until June 5th, so they're aligning that basically with the Switch to help it get some sales on the Switch. Understandable, but when it comes to competitive, they probably gonna release a new patch around that time because that's something that people were worried about. Like Evo Japan is coming up. Evo Japan is coming up basically May the 9th. I'm sorry. Yeah. Wait. May the 9th? Yeah, it's coming up May the 9th. So we're not getting Alina till June. So basically it's like, are y'all gonna release a new update before Elena drops? So basically, you're saying like the basically the season has ended. The patch that we ended the season on, we're basically gonna take that into the new season because you know you're probably gonna get an update with Elena, and Elena is coming a month after Evo Japan. So it's like, so we're probably not gonna get that new patch unless y'all do like, you know, just like some type of random patch in between, but that's technically still not going to be like the new patch because, you know, the major patches kind of drop with like the new character or the new seasons and all that other stuff. So that's why people were wondering like, when are you going to release Elena? Okay, depending on when you release Elena, we can guess when, like, you know, the next season of Street Fighter is coming. Is it going to be before Evo Japan? So, you know, I kind of with the idea of Elena, we could probably guess that we're going to go into the new Capcom Cup season basically on like the older patch, but probably like a little minor patch in between. When it comes to But all in all, like, I don't know why they didn't show like any gameplay for her. I mean, yeah, the pattern has been released, like Devin said, release a world tour trailer, and then after that you get the gameplay and all that other stuff. But like Evan said, we've seen her for a while. We know what she looked like. Why not just show us the gameplay and stuff like that? I mean, June is not that far away. I mean, but I guess they're just sticking to their guns. They're sticking to their rollout. Hey, we made the trailer. Y'all gonna get it. Dang it. All right, I got it. When it comes to I'm the Hokutomaru, really cool character. I went back and researched when I saw him, just making sure. Like, I was kind of like them. Like, is this a new character? Went back and saw he was like in the original Garo. Pretty cool seeing he's a disciple with Andy and Maya, so he's like a mixture of both. Like Devin said, I mean, seeing like the gameplay that they showed of him, he looks pretty cool. But I mean, really, that's what gameplay trailers are for. I mean, for him to look pretty cool. It's not until we get our hands on him that we're gonna realize, like, okay, what's going on. But shoot, I mean, people got their hands on Cristiano Ronaldo and the DJ guy, and people are like busted. So we'll we'll see. It seems like SNK gonna make this game pretty fun. But pretty cool character. I mean, I can't wait to see what it looks like when people get their hands on. They just announced that Andy is gonna be playable at Evo Japan. So SNK is making sure they keep your name. They just had a trailer with iShow Speed and KSI just come out and stuff like that. So SNK is really, I mean, if it's one thing you can say about them, people know this game coming out. So
Yeah.
they making sure people know the game is coming out. But anybody else got anything that?
In regards to what you're talking about the update coming out, yeah, it does seem it is kind of interesting that we're pretty much going to be. I mean, like you said, there might be a patch, like might be a minor patch between now and like May 9th, but then again, there might not be, right? Like this might be the what's called, like what they end up the current version of the game might be the version that you end up that we go through Evo Japan on, and then I guess maybe you have Evo Japan, because maybe like I could kind of see the logic a little bit, because then it's like, okay, everybody's already used to playing the game a certain way, and I mean, it is kind of like, what is it? It's April 11th, so then you have basically, if you come out with like if you were to come out with a big patch, like let's say tomorrow, right? Then that means that you have basically like maybe less than a month to really get used to all the changes in the game and all that, and maybe they're not trying to do that. Maybe it's kind of like, all right, we're just going to ride it out through Evo Japan, and then in June and on the 5th, you just say, all right, we're just going to like restart like the next season or whatever. Which I mean, kind of makes sense, but it does kind of like, I mean, it would have been kind of cool to have Elena playable before the next before Evo Japan, but I mean, what are you gonna do? I mean, I don't know. It's these companies, man. What are you gonna do?
Yeah, I mean, Capcom has basically put them, like, basically been incognito, hadn't said anything about anything. We were wondering when the Elena trailer was coming. We was wondering about the new season. Y'all basically saying this stuff is starting to Evo Japan less than a month away. What we doing about the new balance as we go into? I mean, they were basically silent. So at least now that we have an Elena date, I mean, basically, okay, season 2 probably isn't ending at least a month out. I mean, they're not gonna release Elena and then just be like, all right, season 3 is here. They're gonna have to let that breathe for a minute. So we're basically gonna be, basically the new season is gonna start like on an older patch. So that's not what the people wanted. Everybody kind of wanted, because with a new season, you kind of want to have a new feel of things. You don't want to, like, with this last patch, we've kind of seen like everything we're gonna get from this. We've seen the people who have done the most. We've seen everybody who's done well in the last season on that patch and stuff like that. We've seen the results. It's like, okay, bring in a new patch. It's a breath of fresh air as we go into a new season, starting a new road to Capcom Cup. So, it's typically what you want, but who knows what Capcom has going on behind the scenes, because once again, they ain't saying nothing. So, all we could do is speculate. So, got anything you want to say, Mr. T?
I'll just say I agree with you. I think that's probably why they didn't do it, just because there's such a big event coming up. But I do believe there have been times where, like, well, maybe I'm trying to remember when Rashid was released. I think he was released like right before, I want to say, an Evo or something. It was some event, but it might have been like 2 months out, 2 or 3 months. So that's a little more time. But yeah, like a month or a little under a month, that is a lot to, like, kind of get adjusted. If they make, like, especially big changes, and maybe, like, let's say your character's viable and all of a sudden just something changes where they're just like, I might as well switch characters. So, I can get that. But yeah, at this point, I just kind of want her to come out. And I remember you just mentioned Rexon, the fact that it's like, we know what she looks like. We've seen her for we've known about her for so long. This show, I really wish they would just start doing these World Tour trailers alongside with gameplay, just mixing together. Because I mean, she's so close to being released. It's like, why not?
Yeah, I mean, the most we got out of that, you probably know what a driver rush is going to look like. You know,
because I mean, like, when you show a trailer like that, is it really actually a trailer at all? If it's just it's the world, you know what I mean? It's not like you did anything specifically tailored for the announcement of this character. You're just basically like, well, we already had the footage in the game, so we're just going to put it into like a small clip and then put it on YouTube, and it's like, that's the trailer, guys. Like, that's, you know what I mean? Like, did you do anything? I mean, like, it's like, I'm glad that she's there. I think it's cool, but like we said, we already knew that. We already knew she was going to be in the game. It was already foretold, the prophecy long ago, that Elena was going to be in the game. We've been talking, we've already mentioned, actually, we've already speculated on how she was going to affect, like, the Street Fighter 6 like meta coming in, like what kind of character she was going to be, how they were going to implement healing and all that good stuff. And then finally they release a trailer, and then it's basically like, Elena's in the game. It's like, we knew that. We already knew that. You told us that months ago. We know that. Like,
yeah, I mean, it would have been cool. Else. At least they dropped this trailer at Capcom Cup. Like, if it'd have been at least a little something at Capcom Cup, like, why'd you wait?
Yeah.
Yeah, everybody was scratching their head that there wasn't anything. But I think really the biggest part of it, how much of a focus they have on the Battle Hub and the World Tour stuff, because there's more DLC stuff for that than there is, like, just outside
Good
the
point.
game. Like, so.
Good point. Going back to what Mr. Game and Lift just said, they're talking about them, like, changing characters and them being viable or not viable in the next. Yeah, I mean, because if you were to do a patch right now, and let's say, like, I mean, even something like, I know they changed, like, certain like the properties they changed for, like, the level 2 for Ed. I mean, like, they changed about how much super you gain back when, like, the ball is actually hitting people and stuff like that. I mean, that kind of changes the way you have to work around, like, use that move, right? So, I mean, if you were to, like, to change something like that again, and then you kind of have to, in the way that it operates, maybe if, like, the bounce that maybe it starts bouncing people in a certain different way or something like that, you'd have to basically go back and reevaluate all of your combo routes and stuff. I mean, you guys know this. It's not even, I'm not telling you anything new, but it's just like, for those of you who don't know, that those changes like that can really impact the way that you play a character and your general game plan going in and stuff like that. How you're going to be using your resources during a fight and stuff like that. Whether or not you're going to be using, like, your level 2 that much, or your level 3 that much, or if you're going to be using your level 1 a whole lot. I mean, when I'm playing Street Fighter, I play Ed. I don't really use the level 1 that much unless, like, I think I see somebody trying to use, like, a drive impact or something like that, just to, like, knock them out of that. But for the most part, I don't really use that move, And I mean, if they were to be like, all right, you know what, we're going to knock up the damage that it does or something like that, that would probably change my utilization of the level 1. I would probably be like, oh, I'm gonna start comboing into this a lot more, instead of, like, saving up for a level 2 to, like, carry somebody into a corner or something like that. I guess it's complete. Like I said before, it's completely understandable that they decided, hey, we're just gonna wait maybe on making too many big changes before Evo Japan.
Last thing I want to say about the City of the Wolves thing. So basically, with Hokutomaru basically being released, we know the full roster in the first season of DLC. Now people have had their opinions on it, and one thing that stood out is like out of the whole roster, which I basically think the roster is starting off with like 17 characters, 16, 17 characters, and then you got the 5 in the DLC. Um, Outside of guest characters, there's only 2 new characters that Fate of Fear City of the Wolves have shown. That's Vox and Preacher. Everybody else is either returning characters or they're basically those guest characters. Cristiano Ronaldo, the DJ, Ken, and Chun Li. You know, um, so a lot of people were like kind of looking at it like, is it cool that they're only gonna have like 2 new characters? It's a whole new game, new generation, a new designer. We're only getting like 2 new characters to the series. Um, I kind of feel like, I mean, it's kind of like a hard thing you have to do. You have games like Guilty Gear Strive. They'll come out and then people are begging for like their characters to return. They want their older characters to return. Then you got City of the Wolves who's coming out of the gate like, look, we giving you the characters that you're already familiar with. So most people can't be like, oh, my character's not in the game. So it's like they're gonna have to choose one. So I feel like people who are already in love with SNK, people who are already in love with the Garo series and stuff like that, who play Mark of the Wolves, they're gonna be happy. And then the people who are new to the game, they're gonna be happy. They're not gonna know any different. So I feel like
Yeah.
with them only having like 2 new characters, that's fine. I don't think it's that much of a big deal. I mean, if the game does well, we at least go get like what 4 seasons, maybe even 5. So I mean, you can get your newer characters, but I feel like it is a good thing that they're bringing back a lot of like older characters that are true to that series. Especially, it was only like one Garo game before this, so bringing all the characters that back. I mean, ain't no issue with it. You know, now people have said like you got Cristiano Ronaldo and this DJ in here where you could have gave us legit new characters, but hey man, they're trying to market the mess out of this game, so and they did it. So it is what it is. But
Mhm.
anybody got anything to add on that before we move on?
Yeah, actually, yeah, I 100% agree with you. I think like going like, especially when you the point you made about Guilty Gear Strive, it's like people constantly asking for older characters, and then I mean, unfortunately, in that particular circumstance, it's like, oh, I wish that Venom was in the game, and then it's like the monkey's paw like curls one finger, you know what I mean? So it's like, yeah, you got Venom in the game, or did you? But I think like for these games, it's like, coming out with all the old characters. Like you said, the people who know the game are going to be satisfied because you have all these characters coming back. Gato, Dongwon, Kevin, Hokutomaru, Mai, Terry, Rock, all these old characters. But if you're a new person, all these people are new to you anyway. All the characters are new characters to you, so it doesn't really matter. So it's like, I mean, you low key, you're kind of satisfying both. What's called both. Not gonna say I'd say kind of, and like you're mostly satisfying both camps because, like, for new people, of course, everybody's new, but for older, like people who've played the game before, like, yeah, like there's going to be a lot of characters in there that are old, but then of course there's always going to be people who are like, well, how come this specific character isn't in the game? And it's like, hey, maybe they'll show up later. Like, you have Kim's other son, who's not in the game yet, I don't think. And then I don't know. I don't think Freeman is in the game either. And honestly speaking, I would be surprised, very surprised if Freeman came back in this game. But I mean, it'd be cool, but I would be very surprised, because there are just some characters that just like, for some reason, for some inexplicable reason, they just decide, hey, we're just not putting them in the game again for a while. Like, I mean, how many years did we go without a Ryuji Yamazaki appearance in King of Fighters? It was a while. I think before King of Fighters 14, the last time I remember seeing Ryuji Yamazaki was in King of Fighters 2003. Like that, it was a hot minute, man. And so hopefully, we maybe get like I mean, I think it's cool that they're going to put Mr. Big in the game. I think that was, I was really, surprised and very delighted to know that they're going to put Mr. Big in the game. So far as I've seen so far, I'm completely happy with all the characters that they decided to put in the game so far. And I mean, like, I'm looking forward to seeing who else they put in going forward in like the next like DLC packages and stuff like that. So